Hi everybody, my name is Esteban. I just wanted to say I'm recording this on New Year, so Happy New Year. It's 2024. We're now in day one of quarter one. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to go from a B2C coach with a program, doing anywhere from 5 to 10K a month to, scaling your business within a 90-day time frame to 100K a month by leveraging the content to cash system. Okay, so before we even start, who is this for? Okay, so number one, you are the founder of a coaching program with a working product, some strong case studies, and some initial revenue. So anywhere from 5 to 10K a month, and maybe a strong business thesis. And you want to start taking things to the next level, but you haven't solved your initial sales funnel or marketing funnel. Okay. Number two, you don't have a predictable and profitable way to generate leads, and you don't have a proven sales process that brings in customers for your program at a price that actually makes sense. Okay. So maybe you haven't value stacked enough, and in terms of leverage predictability, in terms of your sales process, that just, it's kind of non-existent. Okay. Number three, you have good initial conversations and you have a couple of paying clients, but you want to start taking things to the next level. Okay. Um, and then number four, you're confused. You're in uncertain soils. If the right person got their hands on your product, they would love it and they would benefit from it. Okay. But you're just, struggling to get those next couple betas or clients through the door in a predictable manner. And in general, you're just struggling to convince people to actually give you a shot. Okay. Obviously we have investors on the sidelines waiting for a bright spot, and you're spending your time and energy working on this product, and you're willing to give up your pinky toe to see some traction. Okay. And then also, if you have clients, you may be struggling with a lack of time within your work days, and you want to be able to buy back your time and actually get rid of your calendar, or rid your calendar of blood sucking tasks. Okay. Now, what is the core concept? So in order to bootstrap your coaching business to 100K a month within a 90-day, 3-month time frame, you need, number one, a niche and an offer that provides value to people. Number two, a proven, repeatable process to attract and convert new clients. And then number three, implemented leverage and predictability within all aspects of your business, both acquisition wise and service delivery wise. Okay. Most teams do not have the sufficient, funnel building skills in house, and need outside help. Okay. And no one is teaching this, or no one is teaching this stuff to coaches except for us. Okay. So that being said, step number one is isolating your niche and actually making your offer more valuable. So remember the old Chinese proverb: if you chase two rabbits, you will catch none. This is true for you and your coaching business. So the point is to start with one specific group of people that you understand deeply. Okay. And then once you capture and you dominate that market, you can then expand into concentric circles. So you usually want to start with a high ticket niche in which you can solve a really, really painful problem and collect upfront cash, right? Now, an FAQ. Is your niche set in stone? No, okay? So often you'll build your first funnel, you'll run your first funnel, and you'll validate your offer or your niche if it's wrong. You'll validate if it's wrong or not, okay? And if this happens, you just change niches or offers and spin up another funnel, right? So the point is that, obviously you need to focus on one niche at a time, right? This will allow you to run conclusive experiments and essentially prevent you from wasting time and money. Number two is, how narrow does the niche have to be? You want your niche to be as narrow as possible, okay? You want absolutely zero competition. The more narrow the niche, obviously the more your message and your offer will cut through the noise, right? So for example, I cooked this one up: in-person salesman over 5K liquid looking to transition to closing over Zoom, right? Very, very specific. Okay. So now step number two is implementing a proven and repeatable process to attract and convert new clients, right? So now that our offer is valuable and it's now set in stone, essentially it's now time to start driving traffic and enrolling new clients using the content to cash system. Okay. So let me just zoom in a little bit and actually kind of explain this to you. Okay. So the content to cash system, how this kind of works is we generate attention and we break the ice with cold prospects using follow ads. Okay. Instagram follow ads. Okay. Then from here, obviously within the content or the follow ad, there is a call to action to check out our content portfolio, which is used to nurture people, right? And then within the content portfolio, there is a conversion mechanism, which is obviously a call to action to comment a keyword or just engage in general. And then when somebody engages, we'll have an appointment setter essentially start a conversation with this new prospect that just engaged. And then from here, leverage kind of long form content that will help you build out to solve inefficiencies, or the most common inefficiencies that people may be having. Okay. And once we solve these inefficiencies, essentially what's going to happen is where the reciprocity bias is going to kick in. You kind of gave them the insights to solve their issue. So they're going to be like, oh, wow. I kind of owe this person something, right? So, obviously that's going to kick it in their brain. And then, when you ask them to kind of book a consultation and go a little more in depth on that, then, more likely than not, they're going to say yes. Okay. However, if all, it just doesn't, go, as planned, and it just doesn't go as smooth, essentially what's going to happen is you just redirect them to your YouTube VSLs, and then they'll get retargeted over time by your meta ads. And then they'll start getting, retargeted by keyword ads, which are a conversion mechanism. And from here, once they engage, obviously the seller's going to start a conversation and then do all the same stuff as before. However, if they're not interested in the consultation, what happens? Well, it's very simple. You redirect them to a group, okay? Now, in this group atmosphere, you are going to qualify them. You are going to accept and pin them in a pin post, or tag them in a pin post for a lead magnet, right? You need to have a lead magnet to run a group, because if you do not have a lead magnet, then nobody's going to join your group. Nobody's going to essentially, find the value in joining your group if there's no lead magnet available, okay? So if the prospect engages, obviously start a conversation, leverage the content to solve an inefficiency, and then schedule a consultation. However, if not, you'll just get them over time by leveraging engagement posts, right? Now, the Content2Cash system implements leverage and predictability within your entire sales process, and it makes it absolutely unreasonable for you not to enroll clients, okay? So a couple of action steps, right? Number one is to choose and focus your efforts and resources on a single acquisition channel, and in this case being Instagram, right? Number two is using media and software to sell on your behalf. So ads and an in-depth content portfolio, okay? You record these once and it literally sells for you forever, okay? Number three is to utilize Instagram follow ads to predictably and consistently drive qualified prospects to your profile. And then number four is building an organic short form content portfolio to not only continue driving traffic, but to nurture the new betas and prospects clicking onto your profile, and to get them to start consuming content. And when they start consuming content, they'll subconsciously, they'll be sold, and, their trust in you is going to obviously increase, right? And then obviously, once your ads are running and you have an in-depth content portfolio, subconsciously selling potential qualified prospects onto your services, you want to place a team member to handle and convert the leads, engaging on your posts and responding to your call to actions in the DMs, and then start booking meetings, okay? So in terms of troubleshooting, right? If need be, film 5 long-form YouTube VSLs that go very, very in-depth on the 5 biggest problems that your ideal client avatar may be dealing with, okay? And also be sure to create a back-end group for either prospects that don't convert on calls, or prospects who, want to receive a lead magnet and just don't want to hop on a call first, okay? Now, FAQ, how much does each lead cost with the Instagram follow ads? It costs about $3 to $5 per follow, right? Once I have my content and my ads running, how long does it take to start booking the first meetings? 1 to 3 days, assuming that you follow the action steps within my content, okay? How about retargeting ads? Yes, leverage retargeting ads on Meta, Instagram, for prospects who consume your organic content and ads, but don't engage or opt into call to actions. The whole point is to get these people to engage. And when they engage, then you start conversations. And when you start conversations, that is when you start converting. And then when you start converting, they get on calls. And when you get on calls, then you start closing. And when you start closing, they become clients. When they become clients, you service deliver. When you service deliver, you get them case studies. And then when you get them a case study, you then leverage that within your front end marketing to drive even more traffic and sign on even more people, okay? What's the purpose of the lead magnet in the group? You are going to use this lead magnet to drive traffic to the group and give people a reason to even join, like I was saying earlier, okay? Essentially making the prospect take more steps towards you within their subconscious mind, okay? You qualify them, you have a setter message them in the group looking to book a call. And if they don't convert to a meeting, you keep them in there and you leverage engagement posts, which I have a whole nother video on. So 2-step posts, value posts, stuff like that, to keep them on their heels and waiting for new valuable assets to come out that they can then use within their efforts. Okay. And then add a call to action within every one of these engagement posts so that when they engage, the appointment setter can then restart the conversation and attempt to convert them again. Okay. Step number 3 is implementing leverage and predictability within acquisition and service delivery, and ultimately just working on the business instead of within it in the trenches. Okay. So now that we're constantly signing on new clients, it's now time to service deliver. Okay. However, we don't have the time to service deliver if we don't have leverage and, a predictable delivery roadmap in place. Okay. So this is how, the Content2Cash roadmap kind of works. Okay. So number 1, we're going to start with onboarding. Okay. So your onboarding funnel needs to be in place. Okay. So you need to have a video for these new clients, to mitigate refunds, and then a payment page. Okay. Then from here, once they pay, you take them to, a calendar page where they can obviously book their first onboarding call with an onboarding specialist. Okay. Then from here, once they hop off that call, the onboarding specialist needs to redirect them to the course material, which should be held on school. Okay. Then from here, the CSM, obviously their job is to track the number or the percentage of videos watched to make sure that they're actually properly ramped up. And if they don't watch everything, then they're redirected and told to go watch everything before they start hopping on the calls with the CSM. Okay. Because we want these people to be as ramped up and as knowledgeable as possible. We want to essentially imagine the course material as a base. Okay. And I'll go over this a little later in a visualized chart. All right. Now, if the client is, watching the course material and they're watching everything, then you introduce them to the community aspect. And if not, you stress the importance of consuming the course material. Okay. So then from here, obviously you want to introduce, or you want to force the client to introduce themselves to your community aspect. Okay. This is essentially to, build accountability and essentially just, build new relationships with more experienced members that they can, network and connect with. Okay. And be held accountable by, right? Then obviously in terms of accountability, we have networking with members, obviously, because we have, client results within the community aspect and stuff like that, which obviously leads to an increase in motivation and accountability. And then we also have one-on-one calls with the client success manager 1 to 2 times a week. Okay. Where obviously the client success manager is, essentially making sure that the client is doing what they're doing in order to turn them into a case study. Right. Then group calls, right? So this is your job, right? So once or twice a week, you hold a Q&A, where people could just come in on the Zoom call and ask you questions, right? This is going to take these people that are at a base and already, learning from, the client success manager, and it's going to take them to the next level because, their biggest bottlenecks, they're obviously going to be asking the questions about their biggest bottlenecks. You give them value and you teach them how to solve their biggest bottlenecks. Then from there, they take action in accordance with, this new insights, these new info, new beliefs. And then from here, they become a case study. And then when they become a case study, you leverage them within your front end marketing to sign on even more people. And if you're making people money, then you could even upsell them on a back end mastermind. Okay. So the Content2Cash delivery model essentially ensures that new clients that sign up for your program actually get the results that they paid for and become new case studies, which you can then use, like I said, within your front end marketing to attract even more new clients. Okay. So to service deliver while working on the business instead of in it, you need to build a team. Okay. An acquisition and service delivery infrastructure is absolutely necessary in order to turn your business into a machine that works nonstop on your behalf. Okay. 25/8 without manual labor on your end. Right. So Q&A, what team members would I need for client acquisition? So the process of, gathering and signing on clients. You need a placed appointment setter within your channel of choice. Okay. And your group, optional, as well as a closer. If you are obviously booking enough calls and you've proven your offer enough and you've scaled it to at least 50K a month. Okay. What team members do I need to service deliver? So you need an onboarding specialist to onboard new clients smoothly and mitigate refunds. You need a client success manager to take one-on-one calls with these clients and keep them, motivated and accountable and keep them, taking action. And obviously motivated, which leads to the client becoming a future case study. Okay. And then what manual tasks would you have to continue doing? So you would have to obviously continue doing high leverage tasks. So recording content, taking group calls with clients. Okay. That's pretty much it. In terms of the step summary, right? So obviously, number one is isolating your niche and making your offer more valuable to the market. Number two is implementing a proven and repeatable process to attract and convert new clients. And then number three is implementing leverage and predictability within client acquisition and service delivery, and essentially just working on the business instead of within it. Okay. So, that being said, at this point, we have two options. Number one is the hard way. Okay. So, a couple of things that I see with people that choose the hard way is number one, it could take you a really long time to isolate your niche. Okay. Number two, you could struggle building your initial funnel and actually validating it with free sources if you don't have strong copywriting skills. Okay. And the funnel would essentially get a false negative. Number three, you can struggle with building your content portfolio. So portraying the wrong message, wrong sequence, and just using the wrong tools in general. Number four, you can struggle with validating traffic and scaling acquisition and service delivery, right? And then lastly, number five, you can struggle building and ramping your own team. Okay. It's extremely challenging to line up all the pieces properly. You have to spin multiple plates, right? And if you've never done this before, there's a good chance you'll either fail or run out of money. Okay. Option number two is working with Content2Cash.io. Okay. So we work with you and your team for 3 to 6 months and implement the Content2Cash system to acquire new customers and acquire new case studies. Okay. So obviously right here is obviously the Content2Cash system kind of, summarize and revamp like I explained to you guys earlier. Now, again, this is for B2C coaches and consultants with 5 to 10K liquid and a proven product looking to scale things to the next level. Okay. So a couple of quick and dirty benefits. Obviously, we help you validate your sales funnel quickly, get to your revenue goal extremely quickly, remain extremely capital efficient, hire the right people at the right time, build an incredible investment thesis for any investor kind of looking in from the sidelines, and overall just build an incredible coaching business. Okay. So Content2Cash.io roadmap visualized. Okay. So in terms of working with us, this is kind of how it would go, right? Step number one is we would help you fill out your foundational sales copy template. So this is obviously going to be going over, your ideal client, kind of, redesigning kind of like your offer and all this different type of stuff, right? Just a bunch of foundational stuff that we're obviously going to be using in the future. Okay. Number two is writing your assets using, asset templates. So sales letter and ads, right? So we'll obviously help you write your sales letter and we'll write your ads for you. Okay. Number three is, creating your sales and inbound setter scripts. So we're obviously, we're not going to be doing any outbound because outbound is a thing of the past. Okay. The biggest coaches in the space now, do not do any outbound. They rely solely on, the traffic that they generate themselves. And then they have a setter to essentially manage the engagement and turn them into, book calls. And that's exactly what we're going to replicate within your sales process. Okay. Step number four is assembling your ads and content portfolio. So we'll provide you with the copy, everything you need. Then you'll film your sales assets and then you just send it back to us on time. Okay. Step number five is launching your ads and your content. Okay. So we'll launch your follow ads, we'll launch your content, and then your campaign is officially launched. Okay. Step number six is placing a setter to convert this new traffic done for you. So obviously, now that we have guaranteed traffic thanks to the follow ads and the content, engagement is obviously going to be a byproduct of all this, right? So there's going to be a lot of engagement. Then we're going to place a setter to convert these leads into booked calls, right? And as a result, this acquisition inefficiency is now solved. And the problem is, when you solve one problem, another usually arises. Now, this new problem is service delivery. Okay. So step number one is obviously filming your course material. Okay. So we're going to help you structure your course and kind of build out all that material. And the whole point of this course material is it's going to take somebody from 0 to about 50, 60, 70% in terms of understanding. Okay. Then number two is an onboarding specialist. Okay. So obviously the whole point of hiring an onboarding specialist is to delegate onboarding. And obviously, once you delegate onboarding, it saves hours upon hours of your time. right? And you now have the time for higher leverage tasks that actually help your business grow, like the group calls and recording content. Okay. Recording content obviously to push, more stuff out to the market. And then obviously, the group calls to obviously, turn your clients into case studies. Okay. Step number 3 is hiring a CSM. So before you're spending, your whole day on one-on-one calls with clients, once you hire and ramp a client success manager, it says onboarding specialist, a client success manager, students are now being kept accountable while you're saving your time. Okay. Step number 4 is implementing a client community. Okay. So before, there's obviously a lack of motivation and accountability within your clients. If there's no community, there's no, client results being dropped or anything. And then obviously once you implement these community factors within your program, what's going to happen is clients are now constantly being held accountable, and they're also being motivated by other people's results, which leads to them taking more action with the right beliefs and right mindset, which leads to them becoming a case study that you can then leverage to sign on even more people. Okay. Step number 5 is group calls 2 times a week hosted by you. Okay. So the course material took them to 70%. Okay. The one-on-one calls, it took them, to 20%. And then it took them to about, 80, 90%. And the community, obviously it's keeping them accountable. It's what's keeping them going. These group call Q&As are essentially kind of obviously they're kind of, the icing on the cake, essentially, is how you want to picture them in this sense, right? They have their biggest bottlenecks. They'll come in, they'll ask you, how do I fix this bottleneck? You give them the insights needed to fix this bottleneck, and then boom, they go ahead and fix it, and then boom, they become a case study. Okay. So that being said, what is next from here? Okay. So if this is your first time seeing me, go through my YouTube where I share everything that you will ever need to scale a coaching business, do it yourself. Okay. This is my YouTube, Esteban Sarmiento, right? And once you've gone through my content and actually realized that I can be of use to the growth of your business in 2024, go ahead and book a call. Okay. So obviously you can go ahead and book a call on my Instagram, SDC2C, right? Where obviously, I drop a lot of insights. Obviously my YouTube is linked here, all this different type of stuff. You can kind of, keep up with me on a daily basis. And if you want to book a call, all you have to do is, essentially message me the keyword C2C. And then from there, obviously I'll send you a booking link, and then we can obviously go from there. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Please implement everything that I taught you. It's going to be very important. Happy New Year 2024. Let's make quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4 very, very special. And thank you for watching this video. Bye-bye.